It's the E-Commerce Minute, your daily dose of e-commerce, tech, and retail news with your hosts, Bart Mraz and John Suter. The E-Commerce Minute is a production of Sumo Heavy, a digital commerce consulting firm in Brooklyn, New York, and Philadelphia. Find us on the web at sumoheavy.com. It's E-Commerce Minute, episode 270.
In today's episode, the last blockbuster in America.
Before the dawn of digital video, if you wanted to watch the latest movies, you'd have to trek to a place called a video store. You'd wait in line hoping they weren't out of the copies of the DVD or VHS of the hit title you wanted to watch. Then you'd trek back home and enjoy your movie. As the era of physical media fades, so does the fate of the once mighty Blockbuster video chain. At its peak in 2004, Blockbuster had over 9,000 stores and was a staple of family movie night. At one point in 1980, legend has it, a Blockbuster store opened every 17 hours. But time marches on, and soon Redbox, then Netflix, and digital video made the very idea of a store full of movies almost obsolete. Thousands of Blockbuster locations closed, and up until July of this year, only 3 remained. The locations that existed are franchisees that licensed the name Blockbuster from Dish Network, which bought the failed video chain after it declared bankruptcy in 2010. The 2 remaining were in Alaska and 1 in Bend, Oregon. As of last Sunday, the stores in Anchorage and Fairbanks will close for the last time, leaving the location on Northeast Revere Avenue as the sole Blockbuster in the entire country. As its general manager, Sandy Harding told the Associated Press, "We have no plans on closing anytime soon."
John, this is like close to your home too.
Yeah, so my background, I worked for Blockbuster's competitor, West Coast Video, for a number of years. I too also saw that chain rise and then fall. I literally left there just as it was about to close its doors. But Blockbuster kept going. They actually kept growing. At the time, Wayne Huizenga owned the company, and he was the one that was responsible for the large growth. He sold the company. Wayne Huizenga was the head of waste management, so he had a lot of money to begin with. He sold off the company. Blockbuster continued to chug along. West Coast Video basically disappeared by the beginning of the 2000s. West Coast Video was all but dead. Yeah, Blockbuster kept going on.
And then Netflix came in and just went on, right?
When I was with West Coast Video, and we're talking a long time ago, there was this thing, a new technology that IBM had come up with called New Leaf, and our company was an investor in this. And New Leaf was basically a code word for a Netflix-style system. Unfortunately, back then, you didn't have the ubiquitous high-speed Wi-Fi, so it was something that would have to be done with literally hard cable, and the delivery system just wasn't there. So like a lot of other things, the idea was there, but the technology just hadn't caught up with it.
You're talking about current Netflix, not before Netflix.
No, that's true. And what Blockbuster did, they did a similar Netflix style thing. I used to have the Blockbuster membership where you could do the Netflix style. You go in and it was like 3
Was it 3 movies and whatever? Yeah, I don't remember.
But their website was terrible. And even like the early Netflix was like, you put a movie in a queue. It's like, oh, I want to watch The Godfather, and you have to wait 3 months to get it.
Yeah.
And I think actually that's one of the reasons that the video stores still kind of stayed around as long as they did, because people don't want to wait for this copy of this movie. And that's why a lot of the obscure video chains actually still to this day hold on, because they have the things that Netflix won't get.
But between you gotta look at like Amazon and all these like Apple TV, all of them are playing that game now for internet. So yeah, most of the time when you have fast speed internet, fast food internet. Hey, that's coming. It's just gonna food through internet. Then you just, it's all there. You can pretty much find any movie you want on any one of these things.
But here's an example where you can't. Okay. So besides niche films, like there's a lot of guys that, and I always say guys, there's a lot of people that watch anime. There's a lot of people that watch foreign movies. There's a lot of people that watch really like obscure out of print obscure type movies. And there are small video stores now, they're far and few between, that would carry that type of selection. I don't know what kind of money they make, probably not a lot. But there was one example where a physical video store kind of saved the day. In 2016, Gene Wilder died. So what had happened, mourners took to Netflix and other streaming services to watch Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. At the time, these films weren't available online, but this particular Blockbuster in Bend, Oregon had it. Customers called her store, and she had the physical copies. So that's one little obscure time where a physical video store is going to come into value, but it's few and far between. But this woman says that she still obviously she has enough customers to keep the doors open. You have the nostalgia people, probably an older clientele that come in there, retirees, people who, and listen, when I worked in the video industry, it was like, you priced your kids' movies at 99 cents because, let me tell you, mom came in there, and if it was a maximum 6 rental, she'd take 6 and say, I just need to keep my kids busy. It's the same thing as where propping your kid in front of Netflix. If you don't have Netflix, you've got to have some kind of DVD or VHS or something to keep your kids busy. So that's probably what's paying the rent there. So it's pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But all is not lost. We're down to one Blockbuster in the U.S., but there are some Blockbusters abroad in countries like Norway, Australia, and Brazil. So there you go.
For now.
All right. Pour one out for Blockbuster. Got anything else, Bart?
That is it.
All right. That's your e-commerce minute for today. We'll see you on the internet tomorrow. That's it for today's show. If you like the show, do us a favor and subscribe or leave us a review on iTunes. And don't forget, you can now listen to the e-commerce minute on your Amazon device. Just add e-commerce minute to your flash briefing. And finally, if you have a comment or suggestion or just want to say hi, find us on social media at Sumo Heavy.